This is how I'm gonna start the video. Haji-Notos. Hajimoto Production. So he put together this gun that you guys can see here, and I think it's one of the best iguana hunting setup. I'm enjoying it a lot. Nice. Hello everybody, welcome back. This video I've been thinking about doing it for a very long time. I think more than a year I've been on the making, and I hope you really enjoy. Just really wanted to share with you something that I think is really valuable, especially for the iguana hunting community. When I started, there was not really a lot of iguana setup, iguana shooting with air gun. I think I went through an evolution that I wanted to share with you. I started using 25 caliber. Now everybody's asking what caliber you're using. Mainly 22. I find that 22 is plenty, and I've been willing to give 177 a try. Why is that? Main reason is the distance that I'm shooting is not far distance, and also the power that I'm looking is low power. The best shot that I'm looking for is the one that I hit the iguana and the pellet stayed in the iguana. Why is that? I'm shooting where we might have cars, houses, and the last thing that I want is a ricochet and the pellet going where I'm not intended to hit. With that being said, when I'm going out hunting, most of the time I'm out walking. So I noticed the impact, the big RTI. I realized that I don't gravitate to those guns as much as the RTI Mini. If you guys see my channel, you've been following, you will realize that that's my go-to gun. That's my favorite hunting gun, mainly because the weight and how dependable the gun is. So I can take it out after a few weeks there and still shooting exactly when I'm aiming. Since a couple of weeks, my cousin here in Florida, he was dealing with iguanas also, and he reached out because he wanted to buy a gun, but he's first time air gunner, and I was thinking, what gun can I recommend him so he will start and enjoy the hobby? You know, I was really tempted to recommend like a high-end gun, but after a few thoughts, this is the gun that I end up recommending. A Notos, Umarex HajiNotos. Yeah, why is that? This gun, I think, have all the characteristics that I was mentioning before. So it's a 22 caliber, really lightweight. I think it might be just a couple of pounds. So the ergonomics are outstanding. It has a few drawbacks that I never considered this gun for myself, because mainly, as you guys can see, it has a really teeny tiny air reservoir. So this gun will give me probably 20, maybe 25 shot maximum. But I was looking, when I go out, I was looking for a high shot count. If you see, all my guns have bottled because I really wanted to get the most out of it. Remember, I'm walking all canal up and down, and not having a big shot count is a problem, because I don't want it to be maybe half a mile or a mile and then need to go back, or I don't want it to be walking with the tank. So that's one of the first drawback. But the gun comes with the suppressor included, Picatinny's rail, adjustable butt pad, the trigger. It's one of the worst trigger that I've tested. It's like probably 7 pounds, 7 or 70, more or less. And it have a wiggle here. Right? We will talk about all of that, but the gun, and this is a 250, 60. This is very cheap. I think this is the amount of money that I waste on ammo maybe. And Well, I recommended this gun to my cousin and he bought it and he was so happy. And then I think it is time to talk a little bit about the Notos, because my cousin was putting Iguanas down and he was really happy saying this gun is really accurate. And what happened? Yeah, I have few drawbacks, but what if there will be a Notos that is getting over all of these shortcomings that I mentioned? What if we had a Notos like this one? All right, let's talk a little bit about this one. This is a Haji-Notos. So the Notos is a platform that is being highly modified by the community. The gun offers an awesome platform so you can start adding stuff. So you can go ahead and start buying your adapters and stuff. But Haji-Notos, so let's talk about this. Hajimoto Productions. So he put together this gun that you guys can see here. And I think it's one of the best iguana hunting setup. I'm enjoying it a lot. It has a few drawbacks. It's not perfect, but again, it's a very interesting proposal, because when people wanted to buy a gun like my cousin, I can recommend a $260 gun, and it will be a really nice starting point. But over time, this gun can be improved. And my cousin, he was like, oh, I wanted to buy the impact. I like, you know what, grow that gun on you. So wait until you can see the limitation. Go in when you say, oh, I need this and that. And I will even recommend him to upgrade to something like this and then move to another platform. But before we talk a little bit about this offer from Haji, let me just put a quick disclaimer. I have a very good relationship with Haji in terms of business and friendship. He's one of my best friends, but he never asked me to do any, so he's not paying me for putting this video out. These are all my opinion. He doesn't even know what I'm gonna talk about this, but I wanted to do this because the product is awesome, and there are a few companies offering something similar, but I think Haji is doing something unique. Everything that I would say is just my honest opinion. I'm not sugarcoating anything here. Just a quick disclaimer, you know, I'm being honest, and I really don't want it to mislead anyone with what I'm saying here. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt. I'm not a Notos expert by any means. In the community, we have people doing awesome jobs. I just received a few upgrades. Probably I will show you in the next video, because I still think the Haji-Notos needs something to even be better. I think it's a platform that you will start improving, and there is always room for improvement, and it's a great, I think, hobby, because you can take it to the next level. I have friends, he was telling me that he's not shooting like 70 foot-pounds, something like that. I don't know. Again, I'm not looking for big power here. I'm looking for all the stuff. Like, for example, let's talk about stuff that we have in the Haji-Notos that take that Notos to the next level. Right, well, the first thing you will notice in the Notos is here in the front. Let's talk about the bottle. So Haji is adding this bottle here. Originally, he sent me another bottle that was a little bit longer. I think it was the same capacity. This is 0.36 liter, the bottle. And then he said this one is better. I think he might be started with a different bottle, but it was making the gun a little bit too long. But this one, I like it better. It's shorter, and it comes with this clamp that also make the, as you can see here, the clamp has a Picatinny adapter that I can put my bipod in the front, as I have in one of my videos, why you want the bipod as much in the front as possible, the stability. So it offered that very solid combination here, and also this is a suppressor, but it's a suppressor that I can take out, not like in the original Notos. So his optic for tanto, really nice addition. This is a Donny FL suppressor. Why I like it? Because there is not a lot of space there. You can see there is not a lot of space for any bigger suppressor. Maybe a Sumo moderator is not gonna fit, but the Tanto does a really nice job. Here I have a Atlas bipod, I would recommend something small, lightweight, because you wanted to keep this setup lightweight. But again, depending on what you're using, the main reason for this setup is to be mobile, really quick, and it's not a bench gun. So that's one of the main reason behind what I consider a really nice Iguana hunting setup. All right. So if we keep coming down this part of the gun here, we can see the first thing we see here is the regulator, is this part here. So the regulator is coming from Hajimoto Power. Haji sells the regulator, so if you already had a Notos, you can get it from Haji. And the Hajimoto Power comes with these gauges. The regulator, I haven't tuned the gun, so Haji sent it already tuned for the Hades. People asking me, what are you shooting? I'm using the Hades, and this regulator is set up to, oh my God, it's in PSI. I'm a bar guy, but 2000 PSI is set, the regulator. The gun can be filled to 4000 PSI, which is right now I'm in the 3000 PSI. There's one thing that I wanted to show you here. This little screw here is so you can close the flow of air to the gun in case you wanted to do any work on the gun. You don't have to bleed the gun. You just screw it, dry fire a couple of times, so you empty the plenum, which is here, plenum. So this is where the air, compressed air, regulated air is gonna be. And when the regulator in the plenum drop all the way, you can do your work in the gun. So regulator adjustment here. One thing is you can adjust the regulator up the pressure, but if you're gonna take it down, you need to work. I would recommend bleed the gun. So there is not a bleeding port here. When I need to bleed it out, what I do is I lose a little bit this gauge here, the gauge for the input, the one in the bottle, and then I drain. Even when I can use this sometime, to be safe, I just drain the gun. It comes with the new and improved 3D printed magazine. As you can see, way bigger magazine. The other thing is here in the back, this is a 3D printed grip, and it offers really nice upgrade, because here, if you can see, I have added a Mac pull, really nice collapsible grip from Mac pull. So I can take this gun and do something like this. Right, one more thing that I wanted to mention is the power. So what happened? And this might be the big difference. Like this gun here is not as powerful. So what happened is it's set up from factory with a regulator. Yeah, it's regulated, but you cannot set it, you cannot adjust it easily. You will have to take it apart, do something. Also the gauge is here. I don't like, looking in front, putting my face in front of this. Well, anyway, but you can just do some adjustment, but you will be limited by the opening on the transfer port on the barrel. Like depending how much air can go there. That's one more thing Haji have done on this gun. So when you get one of the Haji-Notos, when you receive one of these guns, it will be already drilled. A polished barrel would be polished. We will do another video about polishing, because I have something in my mind about that. But Haji will have already polished the trigger. He opened the transfer port. So the gun right now, he set the regulator to 2000 PSI, but this regulator can go up, so I can make this gun even more powerful if I want. And now I have a range of setup, and where in this gun you are limited by whatever comes from factory. I would say do not mess with this one like it is, unless you really wanted to add. So you can start with this and buy the upgrade separate and build from an existing Notos a beefy setup. But yeah, the gun can shoot really high power, but it requires some modification, opening the transfer port, having a regulator so you can increase the power, and you would probably need a bottle if you really wanted to do all of this setup. But I've seen people taking these Notos and shooting 47, 50 foot-pound, and we're talking here 22 caliber. I decided to mount here a Zulus, a D&T Zulus 5x20. This is the second version of the scope. I have decided to go with this setup because it's lightweight, and I think it's a really deadly combination when we can range find and forget about all the other variables. We just range find and pull the shot. So far we have seen the good upgrades compared with the original Noto. So one thing is, now my gun is a little bit heavier than this, but I think it's depending on what scope you mount. This scope is a little bit on the heavy side, but also this thing here in the front making the gun a little bit front heavy. I like it by the trigger. Like if I trigger the gun, like it would be nice, but you know, it's because of all of this. The first thing that I dislike is with the setup that I have is this cocking lever here. I barely have space to do that, but that is something that I'm fixing really soon. One of my friends sent me an aftermarket lever here that I can replace and see if I can do it as soon as possible, because it's something that I really dislike about. And again, it's not an issue in the Haji-Notos or in the Notos, because as you guys can see here, the gun has a space here that you can use. It's because I have my scope here, because the type of scope. If you mount just a regular scope, you will not have this issue. So, and the other one, the biggest of all my pain, is the trigger. This trigger has play, side to side, and it's heavy. I ordered a kit that I was reading on Ergo Nation, people saying, oh, the kit is amazing in eBay. I'll put a picture here of this kit, because to me the kit was a big scam. So I would say stay away from this kit. I will not really recommend it. When I ordered, I was expecting all the parts, and the guy just sent me one screw and one spring, $20 for a little grub screw and a little spring. The title on eBay on the product said it was like trigger kit, and he said, I know you ordered the half of the kit. I don't know why you will ever even have half of a kit. At least put it in the description, but you shouldn't have half of kit and then a full kit, and even for $20. So it's a big scam. I don't notice any improvement on this trigger. It's still heavy as crazy, but I will see if I can find some information on how to make it better. There might be some polishing. I'm gonna be looking into that. If I have any update on how I can make this trigger a little better, I would be awesome, because I'm noticing some accuracy, me pulling this gun, and I noticed like I need to learn this trigger more, because now it's a skill. This is one of the things, like when I'm ready to take the shot, especially that I'm used to the RTI, that trigger, I know when I'm hitting and it goes when I want it. This one is closer to a firearm trigger. Like you have to pull it and you will the trigger will surprise you. So all this theory behind pulling trigger applies to this. Is heavy. At least I'm coming from a very nice trigger, so that's something that I really wanted to fix. But other than that, something that I haven't mentioned is accuracy. The gun have to be accurate. If you want anyone to hunt setup, first, accurate. Doesn't matter anything that we have been talking about. Weight, shot count, power, nothing. If the gun is not accurate, it's not worth it. So this gun is very accurate, and I will show you a few shots. This is a very close range shot. This is 5 yards, and I will show you the versatility. So this is as close as it gets. Here at range, and you can see the red cross in the bottom, showing where the impact will go. Let's give it a try to see at this range. This is very close, so hopefully it's gonna be hitting what it say. Let's give it a try. Let's do the first shot. I'm gonna aim on the C. This is C target. There you go. There exactly when I was aiming. So a 5 yard, this is gonna be doing the work. Yeah, now I move a little further. I think this distance is more realistic. Yeah, this is a very common range for iguana. I will increase just a little bit. And in here you guys can see now where it's aiming. So this is what I love about this scope. You just range and it gives you the whole over built-in. As I say, typically I don't use the red cross because I don't have to deal with two colors. There is a aiming configuration that you can change to have like this. This is all over, or you can just move the reticle to the position you want to shoot. Okay, so the first shot was a 5 yard here. I will aim probably at the 8, and this is 13 yards, so I'm hoping it would hit really nice there. Let's give it one shot. Exactly. So you guys can see the precision. This is the type of accuracy you want to have with Iguana. So you want to be sure that the gun is performing as it should. So let's go ahead and move a little further now. Right here, I just moved to 24 yards. I think I'm zero at this exact range. Let me bring the target a little bit closer. Alright, let's give it a shot. And this time at 24 I will aim to that red dot there. Let's see if we can erase the red dot. There you go. It's deadly. So I'm only doing one shot because hopefully you guys can see the accuracy, right? So many air guns that you shoot and you're aiming here and the shot goes here, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, a little bit to the bottom. So here I'm noticing accuracy is outstanding, which is what I need in any Iguana setup. I will need to be confident that when I'm aiming it's gonna hit. I don't want a shot going a little low, hitting the one in the jaw. No, I want the one dropping. The Haji-Notos is a gun that you can upgrade all the way, or you can just start doing partial upgrades. In his website, as you can see in the video description, he has put together a Haji-Notos configuration where you can use it and put the gun all the way that you like it. You don't have to build all upgraded with all the things. So if you just wanted the regulator, you can just add the regulator later. You can start adding all the stuff. So that's a great idea because it's a gun for everybody. Depending on where in your journey you are, this is the gun that you can really use, especially here in Florida for iguana. I highly recommend. The #1 setup for iguana hunting, I would say, is this gun, and then you can go and buy your Mercedes, but no, sorry, buy your other gun. Alright guys and girls, hopefully you really like this video. If you did, please consider subscribing because that really helped and promote my channel. If you have any question, please let me a comment below and then I will reply as soon as I can. I will see you on the next, and be safe.